Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another Spotlight interview with Global Thought Leaders, an initiative by RightSource Global. I am Zishan Pathan, Director at RightSource Global and a Council member of Global Thought Leaders. Along with me, I have my colleague, friend, and a Council member of Global Thought Leaders, Heval Mehta, Chief Growth Officer at RSG. Global Thought Leaders is a platform for industry stalwarts to cross pollinate with their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices to inspire each other and future leaders. Through Spotlight interviews, we strive to bring the community of eminent personalities together from across the globe. We collate the multi decadal learnings acquired by proliferating brains in a nutshell. We bring the expertise of various functions, roles, and sectors together on one platform to inspire future leaders. We have one such industry stalwart today on Spotlight with us, Senator Dr. PKC Bose. Dr. Bose is a doyen of the industry. I would request Havel to introduce our today's eminent personality, who is renowned face globally. Over to you, Havel.
Thank you so much, Zishan, for this kind opportunity to introduce Dr. Bose. It's an honor. A hardcore wind energy professional, Dr. PKC Bose has many first-time hat-tricks in his credits. He has successfully commissioned three most reputed German corporations in their fields of business in India over a period of close to 3 decades of his professional life. Dr. Bose is like a brand ambassador for German Mittelstand Companies in India. He was the managing director for India and area countries of SEW EURODRIVE as he was the catalyst of energy conservation for various first-time applications in India. Then he moved to SAERTEX India as vice chairman and managing director, introduced for the first time the advanced composite material in glass, carbon and aramide for replacement of steel and metal. And since last nearly 2 years, he is the driving force of ENERCON WINDENERGY as its vice chairman and managing director for India. Dr. Bose has been campaigning for sustainability, be it with energy conservation, carbon emission reduction, energy efficiency, and now for green energy as the most sustainable source. He is largely called as the energy conservation evangelist in India. Dr. Bose is one and only Indian senator in the Senate of Economy, Germany. Dr. Bose is also certified climate reality leadership corps trained by former Vice President of USA, Ms. also interviewed by Radio Australia on food sustainability. Dr. Bose is also recipient of prestigious Business Excellence Award 2017 from the World Confederation of Business USA, Outstanding Entrepreneur Award of Enterprise Asia Malaysia, CEO of the Year Award by Indian Leadership Conclave, Global Excellence Award by Top Management Consortium, TMC, Udyog Ratna Award for Excellence in all sphere of management, and he has been also listed in the Reference Asia. He is presently in the Board of Governors of the International Association of Business Leaders Incorporation, USA. He is the first Indian being inducted in the advisory board of the famous University of Denver, USA, and a member of the largest corporate bodies and association in India. It's really an honor to introduce Dr. PKC Bose today. We welcome you, Dr. Bose, for the spotlight.
Thank you very much.
Great. Great to have you, Dr. Bose. Your introduction itself is so inspirational, right? Your journey is inspirational to many globally. But we would really like to know what actually inspired you. So what has driven you to achieve this feat today, Dr. Bose?
Good evening, Sishan. Good evening, Hevel. It's a pleasure being here with you guys. Absolutely, the kind of work you guys are doing, especially during this pandemic period. This is what it really fascinated me, because very seldom people talk about the positive side of life. Here you are bringing the positive side of life in the negative situations. This is what I liked the most. So, the first question, my answer would be, when I was 10 years old, I started visualizing things differently. Probably that was one thing I still continue. So I think if you start visualizing things, you only work towards that because you have nothing else to divert your attention. Now, the first story I read and it inspired me so heavily in my life till date is the story of the so-called spy, American spy, and he was put in the Siberian jail, Nathan Sharansky. And when he was pushed in the worst cell in Siberia, and he saw the size of the cell was just 4x3 size. He said, if I stay here for 12 years of my life, I will be finished. I have to do something different. So he decided that he will do some anti-gravity workout for his physical fitness. But what he did for his mental fitness? The mental fitness, he started playing chess because his childhood days he used to play chess. So he started playing chess virtually, thinking that, the then chess world champion, Gary Kasparov, he started imagining and visualizing that Gary Kasparov is sitting opposite to me. I'm playing chess with him every day. And every day he started visualizing that I am defeating Gary Kasparov. And he started telling himself, you are a winner, you are a winner, you are a winner. And that when Bill Clinton became the president of United States on a humanitarian or a mercy petition or whatever, he was released. Nathan, he preferred to leave to Israel, and subsequently he became a politician over there. And when Gary Kasparov won a friendly chess competition visited there, there were 4 people sitting in one side, and the then world champion Gary Kasparov was sitting in the other side. He defeated 4 people out of 5, and the 5th guy defeated him. So the press and the media went and asked him that, how come you have defeated the world champion? You are not even known about the chess. He said, 12 years when I spent in the Siberian jail, I was every day, 365 days, I was defeating him. So this was practically, it was very easy for me to defeat him. This has, this story I tell every day to myself, because the COVID, everybody said, oh, what can I do? How do I survive? What should I do in my life? And everybody started complaining about it. But I said, oh, it's a great time. This is the right time. This is the only time, making it a little personal. This is the first time, right from March 2020 till date, is the longest time me and my wife spent together under one roof. Otherwise, I'll be only traveling. We meet in some countries, some place. But this was such a learning experience. I got really inspired through her, because many of her qualities were not known to me, but being closer to her, I learned so many things, Be patient in life. Otherwise, my suit will be ready, tie will be ready, everything will be ready. I have to simply go and wear it. But now I started asking that, how did you make it like a machine? So he was showing me how she used to handle this. It was absolutely, I found something completely different. So instead of complaining about COVID, it is time to really think about your own experiences. You had to be really visualize that what you wanted to do. So I always inspired myself, and I also inspired a lot by telling these stories, that how can you visualize what you wanted to do tomorrow? For example, when Zishan called me a few days back and then set up a date, I started visualizing that, who is Zishan? and how is he, what are the questions. I didn't want to prepare myself like a, something you talk. You have to talk from your heart. That will be more natural. So visualization is one thing which I really, really make it in my life as a regular practice. Number two is, knowledge. Knowledge is the power. There is no other thing than knowledge. There was it reminds me, and again, a nice story that there was a guy who was physically very well fit. So he sought a job. He went to a timber merchant and told him that, look at me, I have a nice axe. I'm physically very fit. Would you like to give me a job? I am looking for a job. He said, oh yeah, you looks to be very perfect. Why don't you start from tomorrow to cut the trees? So he became a woodcutter. He started his job there. And first day he cut 15, and the rest of the days it was continuing. And then after 1 week, his performance started declining. So the timber merchant called him and said, what happened? Are you losing your... So he said, this guy himself said, the timber cutter itself said, I think I'm losing my strength. So the timber merchant, very smilingly, very, leisurely, very happy way, he asked, tell me something, when did you sharpen your axe? He said, oh, I don't remember really, because I was so busy, I couldn't sharpen my axe for many days or maybe weeks. He said, actually, you have not lost your strength, but you have lost sharpening your axe. You sharpen your axe, you will still see your efficiency. So all of us, it is extremely important to sharpen our axe. For me as a professional, if I don't sharpen my axe by gaining knowledge on different areas, diversities, different challenges every day, unexpected challenges, but if I'm not updated about that, if I don't sharpen my knowledge, I will turn out to be a woodcutter who lost the confidence and whereby he lost his productivity. So today, everybody, it is the board make the decision. And then if you are not sharpening your axe everyday basis and performing, then probably you may lose it. So sharpening your axe, so that is your knowledge. Sharpening your knowledge is extremely important in order to be successful. If I had to really present myself in a platform, then I need to sharpen my axe. As far as my knowledge is concerned, then I need to present, or I will be able to present it much better. Number three is, learn how to give. Taking is very easy, but giving is always a challenge. Seldom people say that, okay, some people say for the publicity that I donate a lot, but what I donate is my knowledge. I love to donate my knowledge. I teach us nearly about 30 universities across the globe in various areas, and as a visiting faculty or a guest faculty. And I tell you that, I don't know whether you guys got any time a chance to read a book called Die Empty by Todd Henry. It's an amazing book to read. Die Empty, he got inspired because he went to a function and where the organizer asked the group, which is the richest land in the world? Some people said the oil-rich Gulf countries, and someone said it is the diamond mines in Africa. And both the answers were wrong. And the organizer said the richest country in the world is the cemetery. And then he explained, a lot of people who die empty, and they will be having a lot of knowledge. All may not be Steve Jobs or the biggest scientists or the most popular people, or Abdul Kalam, or there are many people, they are buried or cremated there, and what we are losing is their knowledge. So when you are alive, give your knowledge to the world. And this is what is lacking today. Everybody wanted to keep their knowledge within them. And I always prefer that we need to share the knowledge. Sharing the knowledge is gaining the knowledge. And when I went to the Great Lake University, founded by my former professor, Professor Emeritus Bala of Kellogg, Bala said a lot of people come here and then they share the knowledge. But what is most important for the students to know is how do people resolve the problems. A book knowledge is very easy. You can just buy a book and learn, read and learn and then share it. But how many people die empty? They may be having billions of worth of knowledge, but we don't get it because they are already gone. So what inspires me is to share the knowledge. Every day share the knowledge. Maybe a little kid, doesn't matter. You can also share the knowledge. I was few days back, I was in Germany. So I was in one of my friend's house. So his 4-year-old son, he was going on a Friday to the kindergarten school. So I asked him, so you're going to school today? He said, no, I'm going to the fire brigade station today. I said, say again? He said, I'm going to the fire brigade station today. I said, what is fire brigade station? He said, you don't know fire brigade station. Fire brigade station is the firefighting people. They are the people who are there when you call on so and so number, they will rush if there is a fire in your home or office. So can a 5-year-old boy in our country can talk like this? Because we seldom take them to the fire brigade. We seldom take them to the police. We only know how to abuse the policeman because we say that, oh, yeah, this policeman is like this. But we should take some kind of a pain to take the child to the police station and explain to them in the positive side of them. Because of them, we are safe. The military, the fire brigade, the medical professional, what do? How they save our life, how they keep us, safe. So this is most important and which is missing in our country's system. So this is what inspires, giving it. When I came, I happened to meet some small kids and I told them, one of the boys, a small kid, 4 years old, he said, Mama, will you take me to the fire brigade station? So inspiration is not only for self. This should pass it. It should be contagious. The more you give it, the more you will be able to get it. Yeah. I hope I have answered your 4 questions.
Great. So these are amazing insights on your inspiration, Dr. Bose. I must say that the way you have put it across by giving analogies to whatever you have, answered in a point manner, it really would inspire the leaders and the future leaders as such. So, Dr. Bose, your journey has been long and is full of ups and downs. However, what are the key highlights of your successful journey so far that landed you at this stature today?
All right. I would say number 1 is focus. I always believe in a principle called focus, commitment, consistency, and communication. When I say focus, you ask every second person, he will say that I'm focused. So it is important for everyone to practically do what they say. Focus is not, I was driving a few months back from Pune to Kolhapur. In between, we stopped in a small tea stall. And it was so interesting. There was a television and there was nobody in the tea stall except the tea stall owner. So we ordered some tea. And while making the tea, the television was on. So our Prime Minister's speech was going on, one of the subjects. So we looked at it, and but me and my colleague, we were just talking, and this tea vendor, he thought probably we are not interested on this speech. He turned it, and then while turned the channel, it was a cricket match. So first, when he turned the channel, he said he doesn't even know how to speak, the Prime Minister of India, and he started criticizing a lot. Then he turned, so it was an old match series. So Dhoni was batting, and then while giving the tea, he said he doesn't even know how to bat. Look at him, so poor performance. I just looked at him and asked him that, gentleman, do you know how to make a good tea? Because if you are not even expert about your own profession, it's so easy to criticize the man who was elected majority by the people of the country and who is running the country successfully in spite of so many challenges. And MS Dhoni is one of the best known cricketers in the world. He criticized both of them, and he says about, your job is, I told him, your job is to make a good tea and keep me as a good customer, instead of you focusing on somebody's business and criticizing them, but not focusing on your job. So focus is so important. You know, when you go to South Africa in the morning, when the sun rises, two animals runs. One is a lion or a, maybe a tiger or a cheetah, and the other one is a deer. And the objective of running is two different. One is running for the life, the other one is running to hunt the food, but both are running. So the objective or the focus of that is so important. If you are not focused, then you will never make it. So even there is a downfall in life, I prefer to focus, because focus makes me do a lot of things. Even it is my fitness or my yoga or meditation or anything I do, I really, that time, even if there is an emergency, I do not attend anything except what I focus on. Second is commitment. It is extremely important to be committed. A lot of people say that I am very focused, but they are not committed. If you are not committed, you will not make it, for sure. The biggest, the beautiful example to highlight is Mahatma Gandhi for the salt, satyagraha. So he said, no, this has to be stopped. I am committed to change this. And he did it. So the commitment is extremely wonderful. The latest example is the Virgin, Richard Branson's attempt. It was so beautiful to see that in spite of failures, his commitment was, no, I have to make it and I will make it, followed by Bezos. So commitment is extremely critical. Third is consistency. A lot of people, they are committed, but they are not focused. Many of them, they are focused, but they are committed. They are not committed. So if you are focused, then you need to be committed. If you are committed, you need to be consistent. It cannot be, you go up and down, and how long you will go ups and downs. You have to be consistent. Anything you do, if you are consistent, you can change your business or even private life so beautifully, so profitably, so happily, so comfortably. And fourth is most important thing, communication. Very seldom we communicate. We talk, but we don't communicate. I would like to narrate. I don't know whether you have the time, but I will take 2 minutes to narrate that sometime back, in year 2007, I went to Japan for a meeting, and this was actually one of the programs conducted by one of my alma mater. So they said the Asia Pacific people should be there to meet everybody. So I was part of that. I reached to it was sponsored by one of the largest Japanese conglomerate. They were the sponsor, so it was done at their premises. So I went there. It was my flight was late, and then when I reached, it was in the noon time. They said, "Okay, Dr. Bose, you can have your lunch and come back. Then we start." So when I went to the lunch room, there were a lot of people. I picked up my food plate, and I was finding for a place. And the corner, I found a lady. She was sitting alone, and I went and asked her that, "Ma'am, may I also join you?" So she said, "Please." So as she said, "Please," I was about to sit. By the time, she was busy eating, but she got up and she bowed before me, and then she said, "Itata Kumasu." I didn't understand anything. I thought it was probably her name. So I said, "PKC Bose." So then we finished the eating, and next day I didn't meet her, and third day on a Wednesday I met her. This was a one week program, and Wednesday I met her, and in the same canteen, and I saw her. She again lifted her foot plate, bowed, and then she said, "Tata Kumasu." I also said, "PKC Bose." Then on Thursday, I had an exchange program. They all asked that, whom do you like to interact? I said, I would like to know more of Japanese culture, so I would prefer to interact with the Japanese students or Japanese colleagues. So they said, okay, that's a group. So when I went there, I asked there, how do you say good morning, guten Morgen, or how do you say guten appetite or good appetite? So they said, good appetite or enjoy your meal, we say that itata komasu. I said, oh my God, what a mistake. I have done it the last 3 days, and tomorrow is the last date, and I must go and apologize and correct myself. So on a Friday, I went to her, and so she was sitting with so many people. I found a place in between, and before I keeping my foot plate, I bowed in front of her, and I said, "PKC Bose." So she looked at me. Sorry, first of all, I said, "Itata Komasu." So she looked at me. She said, "Itata Komasu. You learned Japanese?" I said, "Ma'am, my sincere apology." By the time she got up and she bowed and she said, "PKC Bose." I said, this is exactly what I wanted to do it. Actually, I thought Itata Komaso is your name. She said, I thought in Indian way you are saying me that happy, enjoy your meal. I said, exactly that's what I was mistaken. So she said, oh my God, you have a doctorate. I am Dr. Mrs. Koichi Mayoda. And so she also had a doctorate. I had a doctorate. But look at that. In spite of having that qualification, I am saying that, without knowing the depth of the communication, I am trying to communicate the language which I am not aware about it. So the communication, it is actually easy to communicate if we have the communication ability to understand. Many a times, recently I was in a counseling meeting and somebody told me that my wife doesn't listen me. I said, okay, do one thing. Tomorrow when you go home, she may be in the kitchen peeling the potatoes, facing to the sink. You go stand 12 feet behind her and ask her something. If she don't respond, go 6 feet closer to her, ask the same question. Still, if there is no answer, go 3 feet closer to her, repeat the question. Still, if there is no answer, hold her and said, darling, you got a problem in your ear. Let's meet a doctor. He said, okay, I will do that. So next day he went, prepared himself, 12 feet behind her. And luckily, when he went, she was in the kitchen doing cooking. He stood 12 feet behind her and asked her, darling, what do we have tonight for dinner? There was no answer. He moved 6 feet closer to her very confidently, asked the same question. There was no answer. 3 feet closer to her, he again asked her, darling, what do we have tonight for dinner? Suddenly she turned 180 degrees and she said, how many times do I need to tell you that we have chicken biryani for dinner? So where is the problem? Actually, the audience are not the problem. The speaker has the problem. But we seldom understand our communication disabilities. We coolly pass it on to our juniors, our peers, our fellow colleagues, but we seldom accept our communication disability. So it is so important for us to understand talking is not communication. It is a small part of the communication. How effectively you communicate. So focus, commitment, consistency, and communication. These are the four pillars of the strength one should have. You can learn in spite of your failures. You can learn a lot.
So, Dr. Bose, I am really enjoying this conversation with you because of your life learnings through your, experiences. Dr. Bose, today many followers get inspired by your success. However, this may have been an outcome of various failures you would have handled in past, right? So we request you to discuss major setbacks in past and how did you bounce back from them?
Very interesting question. Very seldom people ask this and very seldom one is willing to share, because everybody in this kind of a platform like to share only the success story. I would definitely like to share this, because if you have viewers or readers, the youngsters, they must know that, everybody says sky is the limit. Sky is the limit, of course. But when you fall, many of them give up. They say that the sky is not the limit. This is the end of the story. But let me tell you that, in 1999, when I was the youngest managing director of SEW EURODRIVE, one of the largest power transmission companies in the world. So you are like a shining star, young and very, interesting to have the best of the car to drive and the best of the life to live and so on. And I thought possibly, since I am doing exceptionally well, starting a company from scratch and building up a huge plant and making the company really successful, well known in India, I thought nothing can happen to my job. In a boardroom battle, I was in fact asked, without you, we can still run the company. So it was as good as you are fired, or you can, that's the main door to go out, because we had difference of opinion, which is normal in board meetings. But what I learned subsequently is that probably my arrogance spoken what was not required to speak. When you are in the 30s or late 30s, it is, you will always have a feeling that, okay, if you really take there are a lot of startup companies, but all are not in this, not highlighted. What happened to all of them? Many of them are failed because they are not in the picture. Only the success will be highlighted. The same case, because it was too much of, you feel that now you have achieved, nobody can touch you. That is absolutely wrong. I learned a big lesson out of that, because, my approach towards many of the things, when I look at now and then, I realized that how could I be so foolish? I could have done it much better. But now, because that lesson taught me that fallen, right from the top, you fall on your nose, you learn by yourself, because that's the hardest way of learning. Okay, that time there was no book of Steve Jobs. Otherwise, probably it would have helped me. So this is how you learn. And how do you bounce back? That is most important, because I had two favorite words in my life. One is three, I would say three. Number one, I love the most favorite word is called PAINS, P-A-I-N-S, positive thinking in negative attitude. Sorry, positive attitude in negative situation. PAINS, positive attitude in negative situation. When I got out of the boardroom, I thought the world is going upside down. I lost everything. But it took me only a split of a second when I reached to the hotel and I was sitting alone and I was asking, what did I do wrong? And I found that if I would have been in their place, I would have done the same thing. So I realized, so I started developing the positive attitude within me. I said, I did two things. Number one, I said, I will not join a competition, because this is the biggest company in the world. Even if I join in a competition, everybody give the credit to the organization. Because he worked for the larger organization, he could manage to get the job because he used the name of the bigger organization. Number two, I will never hire a person who worked with me, who knows me, knowingly, unknowingly, even remotely. I will not hire him. And then when I joined SAERTEX, I fulfilled what I told myself. I didn't hire anybody whom I knew even remotely. I said, I will start an organization in a place where nobody knows me. I don't know anybody. The reason was I wanted to understand whether I am capable of building it up. Do I have the leadership skill? Do I have the ability to lead? Do I have the ability to build from the scratch? And I built SAERTEX. And everything what I used to get, it was almost double. And I was in the one of the most wonderful cities in Pune, from Vadodara. Even officially drinking a beer in Vadodara is forbidden, but in Pune it is allowed. So you got, and the most wonderful thing was, I joined in an organization which was the most unknown but well known. Airbus 380, they know who is SAERTEX. Airbus 350, they know who is SAERTEX. Dreamliner, that is Boeing knows, Bombardier, Embraer, Cessna, ATR, British Aerospace, Israel Aerospace, you name it, because they make glass, carbon, and aramide, the very high-end material science company. And I had zero knowledge. I was all the time in the power transmission side. So you take a U-turn in terms of the location, which you don't know, the people you don't know, the product you don't know, the market you don't know. Everything was you don't know, but you are already in. How do you make it? It was an amazing journey. The 15 years what I spent in SAERTEX was the best in my life. The finest company in all respects. It is an institution where you can learn everything. So I have been with with that spirit, because I was selling the product to ENERCON to build the blades. And then because of that, ENERCON trusted me, and I am in ENERCON. So the failures always bring you glorified success. Glorified success, not just success, glorified success. So one should not really, worry or become scared when you fail or fall. because that is the symbol of success.
Amazing conversation. I'm sure that all the viewers will definitely get empowered by this conversation, especially the concept of paints that you explained, Dr. Bose, is amazing. I
Thank you.
must acknowledge that.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Bose, you are globally recognized by various associations, magazines, and forums. You got recognized various times by Forbes. You have been invited for the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony. You have been appointed as a Senator of Economy, Germany. What are the initiatives you took that made you globally recognized by these international associations, magazines, and forums?
I would put it this way, that I was always passionate to do things which I love to do. You know, it's not that somebody pushed me and I do it. No, I always prefer to do it. I'm passionate to do my things, which is 100% different than others. You know, when I was introduced first time to the Senate of Economy, I was inducted in the Senate of Economy in 2016. It was, I had no clue, but I said, no, I need to draw a bigger India map in the economy. That was my passion to do it. I had only one objective, that I need to put India in the map of the Senate of Economy in Germany. What can you put the map of India? I said, population, no. That will go wrongly sometimes. I said, what else you can put? And I said, the finest thing, look at Indians. In the global corporations led by Indians. You know, that was something very amazing for me, especially giving us Indira Nooyi as an example at that time. And, you know, it was likewise, how many countries, how many Europeans you will find in the helm of the affairs in the global corporations. They may be in their country's product or country's companies, but not in the global side. But you see Indians, you will find everywhere. So I started telling that India should be viewed differently. We should not, when I started teaching in 1999, I used to ask the students that, would you like to come to India? No, 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 no. It's full of risk. It is very, very dangerous. But believe me, from 2000 onwards, including my former chairman's children, I brought to India and put them in Symbiosis University for 3 months. And you know what? These kids, junior college kids, went back and told, this is the best business school or best study center we have ever seen in our lives. And after that, many. So when I was invited by the Lahore and also the Ikra University in Pakistan, and in 2007, when I visited, there were nearly 3,500 people, people, including the students and the parents and the teachers. They all wanted to know about India's education system, how Indians can become global leaders. So this is what first thing I did it in the global economy. And after that, I was fortunate to bring many of them, we call it as Mittelstand, but that is small and medium enterprises, to India, because in the Senate of Economy, they started trusting me. So when I hold the Indian flag, they say that, no, this man can be trusted, which made me to sit in many of the board or advisory board or board of many of the German Mittelstand medium-sized companies. They are all successful in India, all of them. And now I'm also bringing, because we need so many ancillary companies to India. I am always telling, half of the day I spent inviting them, come, we have a great place over here. That is the same. 2010, today we are all talking about electric vehicle. 2010, on a cold winter days, December in 2009, me and the former chairman of Ashok Leyland, Sheshasai, we were sitting in the Delhi airport in the lounge, started the conversation. I said, Shesh, why don't you build a bus without having chassis? He said, impossible. I said, I will show you something. We had only a tissue paper available. I drove a bus and I told him there will be zero metal on the body of the bus. Zero metal. He said, this cannot be. He said, can you come to Chennai and make a presentation? I flew down to Chennai in his corporate office. We made a presentation. Shesh said, I would like to go for a pilot project. He formed a team. Can you imagine a 40 feet bus, what you see in DTC in Delhi, 14 meters. This bus, without any metal, completely used the glass reinforcement material, which is 6 times stronger than and many a times lighter than steel and metal. And the weight reduction from 14 tons, it has reduced to 10.2 tons. Imagine if it would have been implemented, your pollution level, number one, fuel efficiency, carbon emission reduction, payload increase, wear and tear, no rust and corrosion. Today we are all talking about electric vehicle and talking about only, nobody is talking about reduction of the body of the bus. Everybody is talking about the battery. Tell me, if Zishan, your weight is 75 kg, somebody asked you to carry 120 kg on your head all the day, how much you can walk? We wanted to, you will have to keep the charging station every 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers.
Definitely.
We must really graduate how to reduce the total weight of the bus rather than only talking about the battery. This was very interesting, and the former editor of Forbes, Indrajit Gupta, and the entire team visited me, spent I think 2 days. They wrote an amazing story, 6-page story in Forbes magazine, followed by in 2012 again. So it was so inspiring. I had calls from across the globe. Can you make it? Can you build it? But unfortunately, we were ahead of time. Ashok Leyland had finally, they decided to, Shesh moved out, and then they decided to scrap this project. You know, this is the need of the hour. We talk about, every time we talk about the pollution in Delhi, these are the remedial measures one should take in order to, so this is something which we achieve. The same as when I introduced the first time in India, the geared motor with a frequency inverter in the terminal box, and the whole thing looks only this small. People said this is impossible, but we proved it, and today it is such a huge success, energy efficiency. So the same thing goes with so many things, and these are some of the things, you know, even when I was sharing the platform with Gore in Oslo in Norway for the Global Peace Prize Summit, it was only my own inspiration that I need to be there to send the message. India is the sleeping giant. Wake him up, you will be benefited, we will be benefited. Today we are talking, I'm so happy that our Honorable Prime Minister is so much ahead of his thinking. In 2030, if we wanted to achieve 450 gigawatt renewable energy, today it is time. We have 9 years to go. If this 9 years time, if we wanted to achieve this mega target, we need to start today. You know, vision without action is hallucination. You know, everybody has a vision. Seldom people have the action. So vision without action is really, you can hallucinize. But 2030, you cannot blame anybody. Today, somebody has shown us how to do it. He is there holding the bandwagon. It is my job, your job to do how to achieve that. And that is the need of the hour.
Great, Dr. Bose. The initiative that you have taken, definitely such kind of global recognition would follow. So that logically brings me to another question, which would really inspire and would also be of an interest of the future thought leaders, right, or the future leaders. So the aspiring future thought leaders would like to be guided to avoid mistakes in their career path. Getting that guidance from you directly, Dr. Bose, would be a value add. So can you throw some light on the mistakes that future thought leaders must avoid aligning their goals better?
Yes, I would always say that in my experience with the youngsters or the young leaders, or it's hard to call leaders. Sometimes, I'm not criticizing. I mean, I would like to even put it that way, that even if it is, they take it as a criticism, doesn't matter, that a constructive criticism will always help them out. People are so scared to face problems. If you don't face problems, then there is a big problem, because the problem becomes bigger and you become smaller. That's my concluding statement to you, that one day, I'm sure that one of you must have heard this story, that one day Krishna and Balarama, his elder brother, they were walking through a jungle and it was pitch dark. They couldn't walk. So Balarama told Krishna that it is really dark now, we cannot walk. So Krishna said, you do one thing, I will sleep for some time, I will take rest, and you watch me. If you wanted to sleep, you wake me up. So Krishna went to sleep under a tree, and Balarama was loitering, watching his brother sleeping. A monster came, and Balarama looked at the monster, and the monster looked at him, and the monster screamed. The moment the monster screamed, Balarama shrunk. He became smaller, and the monster became bigger. Second time again the monster screamed. Balarama became even smaller because he was scared, and the monster became even bigger. Third time when the monster screamed, Balarama fainted. Hearing the noise, Krishna woke up. He saw his brother was sleeping. Actually, he was fainted. He started loitering, watching his brother. The monster saw a new person, and Krishna saw the monster, huge monster. The monster looked at him, again screamed. So Krishna looked at the monster and asked him, why are you screaming? The moment he asked, why are you screaming, looking at his face, the monster shrunk and Krishna became bigger. Second time again the monster screamed. Krishna said, tell me, what do you want? The moment he asked, the monster shrunk further, Krishna became even bigger. Third time when he screamed, Krishna said, shut up and keep quiet. So the monster became such a tiny one, he picked him up, tied it the edge of his dhoti and put it behind. Next day morning, they started walking, and Balarama told Krishna, you know, brother, what happened last night? A huge monster came. It scared me like anything. Krishna pulled out the small one from the edge of his dhoti and asked, are you talking about this tiny one? He said, how come yesterday night this was so huge? So Ved Vyas, through Lord Krishna, says, in life, whenever you face a problem, the problem becomes smaller and you become bigger. The moment you don't face a problem, the problem becomes bigger and you become smaller. This is the most important message I would like to share with everybody, because even in personal life, today you look at in the COVID time, we are all scared. We are not ready to face problems. Vaccination you have to take. Oh, first the question comes, is it safe? Second, what will be the negative effect of it? Until you take, you will not know the negative effect. But because of the fear inside, what will happen to me? You stay back. On the process, you may get COVID. So you have to, in every step, whether it is business, whether it is anything, look at some of the industries, medicine, medical industry, hospitality industry. Hospitality industry, I don't say that you have to go to the five-star hotel and all. I mean, especially the food service industry, e-commerce industries. We have to take, in spite of the COVID situation, how these industries are growing exponentially. And that is the positive message. I take it and I say, should I stay and relax saying that the COVID, so ENERCON don't have to do anything, I can relax, I can enjoy life? No. This is the right time to do things which you will not be able to do it when you are too busy. Today I have 5 things, and I know out of the 5 things, if 3 things works, ENERCON can be one of the biggest or the biggest in India. To share with you that we started in 2019, January 2019, September, we decided to set up the R&D center in India. And today I can proudly say we have 150 people we hired during this peakest COVID period. And they are one of the best contributors to our global R&D function. We have built the plant in Erode in Tamil Nadu, the generator plant, which was inaugurated on 20th of July by Stalin virtually. We have now our tower plant is going on in full swing construction in Erode in Trichy in Tamil Nadu. Our blade plant in Nellore is going to, the work is going on in full swing. We took the fullest advantages of this COVID period. All we did is taking care of people, because they are the only one who can make it, not me. I have to be the facilitator to them, saying that they will not be having the effect of COVID. They have to be safe. They have to be taken care, and rest they will take care. So if you have that, the attitude, take you to the altitude. So I have shown the attitude to them. You do it well, I take you to the altitude. So now they have given me that to prove it. I have to do that. So that is the last message I wanted to convey to all of you.
I am speechless after this conversation and feeling motivated, Dr. Bose. I must say that. In fact, the way you have put across various life learnings through stories, anecdotes, and your experiences, it's really mind-blowing. So we have been building this global thought leaders community for cross-pollination of knowledge, Dr. Bose. What are your thoughts about this initiative that we have taken?
I would say, see, that is, that is the least thing people take it, but this is the great thing you are doing it. Because, today there are a lot of people who has no opportunities to learn, and especially this kind of a platform. I'm really, the way, the first time when I approached you itself, I could get a glimpse of it. I went through that. You guys are doing great things. And I would tell you that if I am of any assistance to you, forget about the interview and the telecast and all the things, but I can definitely tell you, if I am of any assistance to you, there are certain institutions where I am very closely associated with, like a global leadership school in Berlin. I am in the board. If you need anything to expand the knowledge of people in our country, please feel free to connect with me anytime. I'm always at your disposal.
That's an honor. That's an honor.
Well, we would really like to thank Dr. Bose for your time. Trust me, rightly that Zishan mentioned that the stories, the concepts that you shared while answering each and every question, it was really, really amazing. And I'll tell you, all our viewers will have smile on their face when they'll be listening to each and every answer. Trust me on that.
Thank you.
Well, on Spotlight, we definitely pick few important pointers, and that really helps the future leader to evolve their career and go to the next level. However, I would say the entire interview was fabulous. Few things that really I got a chance to make a note of only a few pointers because I was completely in the conversation and answers that Dr. Bose was giving. First thing that I really liked is concepts of pain. Not only future leaders, I will be implementing it right after this interview session. That is positive attitude in negative situation, because this is something not only during the situation like pandemic, but it happens personally, professionally, and it will also give you the way to live your life if you implement the concept of pain and you understand exactly what is the meaning of this concept. It will take you to the next level. Four words which will definitely take you to the next level is focus, commitment, consistency, and communication. These are four words which are explained in detail very nicely by Dr. Bose. When you'll definitely go through the entire interview, you will definitely learn a lot from what Dr. Bose has answered on this. Lastly, two important things that really is going to help everyone is failures always bring glorified success. This is something very important because, during this pandemic, many of them have to shut their businesses. Many of them lost their jobs. It's not to see pandemic can be an example, can be an excuse. But, at times when the situations were normal, people lose their job because of non-performance, many other things, right? But this statement will really give them an internal boost and definitely they'll fly. I would really say that failures always bring glorified success. And really nice story, Dr. Bose, I would say, when you were discussing about the problem and you gave story and you mentioned about Lord Krishna and Balrama, with which I only made one short statement on that. The best way to get rid of your problem is to face it.
Absolutely.
Simple. The best way to get rid of any problem, just face it. So these are some important spotlight that we have picked, and I'm sure all our viewers watching this spotlight interview that we conducted with Dr. PKC Bose will have a smile on their face, a lot of learning, a lot of insights, and different way of answering all the questions. That was really remarkable. So thank you so much, Dr. Bose, for giving us your valuable time today. Appreciate your presence on Spotlight interview.
Thank you very much, Hevel, and also Sijan, that it was an honor and a privilege to be with you. And thank you very much. And keep in touch, and all the best wishes to you and your entire team. Take care.
Thank you very much, Dr. PKC Bose. It was an honor.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.